Good morning, everyone. I like to remind us that the main theme of this channel is to reduce toxicity to the barest minimum. What we're striving to achieve is to build our various communities to a level where toxicity is reduced to the barest minimum, where we make toxicity, negativities negligible. This is the reason we have our conversations centered around how people interact, interface with one another, dispose to one another, friends, neighbors, siblings, spouses, business partners, business associates, professionals, even congregants, religious people. Indeed, every facet of life. We are bringing to the fore for discussion seemingly inaudible issues which can and have actually degenerated into deep seated toxicity, negativity in us, all of us. We have either shied away to discuss them when we do, that is when we discuss them, they're far between. We do not address the crux of the matter. We often rationalize and package them to seem nice and therefore acceptable. All this further make things worse off. My name is Christy, and I'm so delighted to welcome you to my channel. In this video, let's talk about exploitation. Eh? Your mind immediately traveled to a certain government, a certain organization, a certain fellow. How about you? Yes, you. Before I go ahead, I'd like us to look at what exploitation means. And of course, I looked it up and I found this: taking unfair advantage of someone or something for personal gain, that is, someone's labor, resources, vulnerabilities, without providing fair compensation or respect. That's what exploitation means. So now that we know, can we relate it with can we relate with this now that we know the meaning? How many times have we been involved, with the benefits of hindsight now? How many times have we been involved in exploiting others? Because whether you want to believe it or not, we have at one time or another exploited someone, something. Yes. Before I go further into the video, I like us to I like to paint a picture so that I'll make this conversation clearer. And like I always say, it's not directed at anyone or at any event in particular. If it has any semblance with what you're going through, please note It's just mere coincidence, not directed at you or at anyone for that matter. So, having said that, I would like to talk about two siblings. Let me paint a picture of the family. It's a family of eight: the father, the mother, six children. The first one, a girl, followed by three boys, and then the last two are girls. My illustration is going to be woven around the firstborn and the second to the last one. The two of them are girls. I'll call the firstborn Kemi and the second to the last Shadi. Kemi is a nurse. She resides in one of the European countries with her husband, who I call Boti, with two children. She's a nurse, like I said. And then Shadi, the second to the last, just concluded her youth service corps. In my home part of the world, after your tertiary institution, after graduating, it's mandatory for you to serve the country for 1 year. There's this scheme, youth service corps. You are mandated to serve the country for 1 year after your graduation from tertiary institution. So Shade immediately set out after completion of the mandatory 1 year of youth service. She set out to look for employment. She wanted to be gainfully employed because herself and her fiance Shegun, in their plan, they're looking at getting married not later than 2 years after Shadi would finish her youth service. So she set out immediately after the service year to look for gainful employment. Somehow, Kemi talked Shade into spending some time with her and her family abroad in a short break. And it looked good to everybody, everyone, including Shegun, Shade's fiance. There was nothing wrong in having a break before you now resume work. Soon enough, Shade was with Kemi and her family. One thing led to another. It took Shade 3 grueling years to get herself out of Kemi's grip. Ashe, all along, Kemi had her own hidden agenda. She wanted a trusted person to take care of her children, ages 3 and 5 years, while she was at work. That is, while Kemi was at work, because she mostly did night shift and could not or did not want to hire a nanny. Because for her, it was expensive, out of reach. Why? Because she and her husband put quite a substantial amount of money from their income into their own family projects. You see, Kemi and Body, they are having some projects, and they put quite a large amount of money from their income into that project. Of course, Shade was not placed on any salary. Kemi dropped pocket money that could hardly take care of Shade's sanitary needs, which was not even regular. And then occasionally, she will shop for Shade in a thrift shop. You can imagine. Thank God Yes, I'm happy for Shade. Shade's fiance, body, Shade's fiance, sorry, Shegun, was supportive throughout this trying period. They got married 1 year after Shade regained her freedom and are now doing very well. They're doing very well. Thank God for Shade. And I thank God for Shegun. And I commend his patience and his kindness, to support Shade all through the trying period. So they're not doing very well. Some other people who had similar encounters were not that lucky. Not everyone who had gone through this kind of experience came out unscathed like Shadi, either damaged, broken, and extremely bitter, not knowing where to start from. Some uh, fans had left plans disorganized, derailed, and on and on and on. So Shade, honestly, God loves you. But what I find even more worrisome are some comments that you hear when some people would say that, after all, Kemi was just being nice. Eh? At least she took Shade abroad. What else could anybody have wished for? Kemi was just nice. Let me explain this. In my own part of the world, I don't know what the issue is, but they kind of revere whoever lives abroad or who goes and comes back. There's great admiration, deep respect for someone who travels or lives abroad. Honestly, I don't know why. I don't know the reason. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. Why they admire and revere and give so much respect to someone because he lives abroad or because he travels abroad. I don't know. But that's where we are in my own part of the world. Sad. Now, if you put this scenario that I painted side by side with the definition of exploitation, how would you rate Kemi and her family? Because they all enjoyed the cheap labor from Shadi. Can Shadi really trust anyone after this experience? From her own blood sister, will she be able to trust any other person? Truly trust somebody? Can Shadi truly forgive Kemi? Can she truly forgive? Could Kemi have transferred some level of toxicity into Shadi? Because if Shadi will not be able to forgive Kemi, she must have taken in certain toxicity, at least towards Kemi and people generally, because it's going to be difficult for her to forgive and to trust. Is Kemi remorseful or is she rationalizing it, trying to justify whatever she did? Is she remorseful? How can she be stopped? That is Kemi. How can she be stopped from doing this to another unsuspecting victim? Because if you derail somebody's plan, if you just intrude into somebody's life, not minding whether the person is going to benefit from that intrusion. The person is a victim. You have turned that person into your victim. So, how is she, Kemi, going to be stopped from inflicting this kind of affliction on some other unsuspecting victim? Then, do they, that is Kemi and Shade, will they be needing counseling, even therapy? These are questions that I would like us to ponder on and put our answers under the comment section. And if you have some other comments, some other encounters, some other experiences that I want to share, please feel free to put them under the comment section. We all learn every day, and this thing happens every day. Though we do not call it exploitation, we deliberately do not call it exploitation, but it is. It is. It is exploitation. So we shouldn't repackage it and make it look nice. Let each and every one of us step back and look at things objectively, especially if it has to do with taking up somebody's time, somebody's resources. You're actually taking up that person's life. Now, if it sounds harsh, well, that's what it is. So please put your comments, your opinions in the comment section. I'm sure we can learn from your inputs. Thank you very much for listening to me. Please remember, subscribe to my channel, like, share my videos. Thank you very much. Bye.